I never thought inheriting my grandfather's land would feel like inheriting a war zone. When the lawyer called, telling me the estate had passed to me, I imagined peaceful fields and memories waiting to be revived. Instead, what I found was chaos. This wasn't just any property, it was my grandfather's life's work. He planted every tree, built every fence with his own hands. This land wasn't just dirt and grass, it was the soul of my family, stitched into every corner. But then came the call that shattered everything. "Tom, you need to see this. There are bulldozers on your land." My voice cracked. "Bulldozers? Are you sure?" "Positive. Some developers' crews started digging without any permits." I couldn't believe it. How could this happen behind my back? I hadn't even set foot there since the funeral. That afternoon, I drove out to the property, heart pounding. The road was rough, overgrown where my grandfather used to mow. But when I reached the edge, my stomach dropped. Two massive bulldozers were tearing into the earth. Men in hard hats shouted orders. A guard waved me away sharply. "Private property. No entry." I raised my badge, voice steady despite the anger boiling inside me. "I'm the owner. I have a right to be here." The guard's smirk didn't waver. "Not according to these permits." He flashed a sheaf of papers. "You're trespassing." I clenched my fists. "These permits are fake. This land belongs to my family." "Sorry, sir. Orders are orders." He stepped forward, blocking me. I stepped back, breathing hard, anger mixing with fear. This wasn't just about land. This was a fight to protect my grandfather's legacy, my family's history. I couldn't let this happen, not without a fight. As I watched the machines roll forward, I swore to myself, I'd do whatever it took to stop this. The law might bend, but my resolve wouldn't break. I needed answers. Standing on the edge of my grandfather's land, watching those bulldozers dig, I felt like a stranger in my own family's story. So I started knocking on doors, talking to neighbors and local officials. Mrs. Carter, who lived 3 houses down, answered my questions first. "Tom, this isn't new. Those developers have been trying to take over that land for years. The HOA's been pushing hard." I frowned. "The HOA? I thought they just handled neighborhood rules." She shook her head. "Not with these people. They're connected, lawyers, officials, pulling strings you wouldn't believe." Her voice trembled. "My cousin lost his home because he fought back. Later, I met with a county clerk who pulled out old records. There's been a lot of pressure around this land," she said quietly. "Lots of suspicious permits, last-minute changes, some papers don't add up." I swallowed hard. "So it's corruption?" She nodded slowly. "Looks like it." I couldn't help but wonder if I was in over my head. Could I really take on these powerful forces? "I don't even know where to start," I admitted to my friend Mike that evening. He patted my shoulder. "You don't have to do it alone. But you've got to stand your ground." That's when I got the call that made my blood run cold. "Mr. Jensen, this is Claire from the HOA office." Her voice was cold, clipped. "I suggest you stop meddling. That land isn't yours anymore." "What do you mean?" "It's my grandfather's property. Legally, things have changed. You're wasting your time." I could hear the smirk through the phone. "Back off, Claire. This is my family's legacy." She laughed. "You don't have a choice. This ends now." After I hung up, my hands shook. But I clenched my fists and said aloud, "No. I'm not giving up. Not now, not ever. Whatever it takes, I'll fight for what's mine." I spent hours at the county records office, flipping through dusty files and yellowed maps that smelled like forgotten secrets. The clerk watched me warily as I pored over deed after deed, searching for anything that could explain how my family's land was suddenly claimed by developers. "Look at this," I said, holding up a document to my old friend, Henry, who'd been a local historian longer than I'd been alive. "See these signatures? They don't match any I've ever seen." Henry leaned closer, squinting. "That's a forgery. And this survey? It's dated just days before construction started. Suspicious, to say the least." My heart thudded. "So this whole development is built on lies?" He nodded grimly. "Fraud is the foundation here. Whoever did this knew what they were doing." I felt a strange mix of anger and cautious hope. If I can prove these documents are fake, maybe I can stop them. Henry gave me a steady look. "You have evidence now. But be careful. These people won't give up easily." The weight of it all pressed down on me. I kept asking myself, can I really fight this? Do I have what it takes? Henry's voice pulled me back. "You're not alone. I'll help you every step." His reassurance gave me strength, but I knew the developers and HOA were watching. Every move I made felt like it was under a microscope. That night, I sat with the papers spread across my kitchen table, tracing the forged marks with trembling fingers. I whispered to myself, this is it. This is how I fight back. The first threatening call came late at night. My phone buzzed, and when I answered, a cold voice whispered, "Drop this now, or there will be consequences." I slammed the phone down, heart racing. Who were these people? How far would they go? The next morning, I found spray paint on my garage door, words I won't repeat. Vandalism was a new, terrifying message, back off or else. I called my neighbor, Jenny, my rock through this nightmare. "Jenny, they're trying to scare me. I don't know if I can take much more." She didn't hesitate. "You're not alone. I'm right here, Tom. We'll face this together." Days later, a thick envelope arrived, legal papers demanding I drop my claim or face a lawsuit. I read it over and over, feeling crushed but refusing to break. "This is just more noise," I told Jenny over the phone. "But it's shaking me." "Good," she said firmly. "It means you're human. But don't let them win." Sleepless nights followed. Every shadow seemed like a threat, every knock at the door made me jump. Doubts crept in. Was I fighting a losing battle? Could I protect what my family had built? Jenny came by with coffee one morning. "You're stronger than you think," she said, setting the cup down. "Let me help. I'll document everything, calls, vandalism, letters. We'll build a case." I nodded, grateful for her steady presence. Together, we started logging every incident, every threat, every insult. I realized this was bigger than land, it was my family's future, my legacy on the line. "I won't let them win," I said one night, staring at the damage on my garage. "This fight is just beginning." I sat across from Sarah Jennings, the lawyer Mike recommended. Her office smelled of leather and old books, a quiet refuge from the chaos outside. "So, you think these documents are forged?" she asked, flipping through the files I'd brought. "They're full of lies," I said. "Fake signatures, last-minute surveys, someone's trying to steal what's rightfully mine." Sarah looked up, her eyes sharp but kind. "We'll prove it. Fraud is a powerful claim if we have the evidence." Relief washed over me, but anxiety wasn't far behind. "Do you think we can win?" She gave a small smile. "It's a tough fight, but you're not alone. I've seen worse." Her confidence steadied me. "What's the plan?" "We start with a formal challenge to the permits, file for an injunction to halt construction. Then, we expose the HOA and developers' shady dealings." I nodded, determination rising. "I want the truth out there. No more hiding. Sarah leaned forward. This will get messy. Expect pushback, legal threats, delays, maybe even more intimidation. I clenched my fists. I'm ready. But it wasn't just words. Within days, I received notices, lawsuits claiming I was trespassing, accusations that I was harassing the developers. I called Sarah, frustrated. They're trying to bury me in paperwork. She sighed. That's standard. They want to wear you down. But I won't stop. Good. We'll counter every move. Her support was more than legal, it was personal. In the courtroom, I felt less like a lone soldier and more like part of a team. This land means everything, I told Sarah once, my voice raw. It's my family's heart. She nodded. And I'll fight to keep it safe. The battle had only just begun, but with Sarah on my side, I knew I had a chance. I started knocking on doors again, this time not just to gather information but to share what I'd uncovered. I told neighbors about the forged documents, the illegal permits, and the HOA's twisted grip on our community. Have you noticed the sudden changes around here? I asked Mrs. Lopez. They're pushing us out, trying to erase this neighborhood. Her eyes filled with tears. My family has lived here for generations. I've seen them bully people into silence. Others nodded, telling stories of unfair fines, threats, even intimidation. The weight of shared pain built a fragile bond among us. At the next HOA meeting, I stood before a room of skeptical faces. We have proof of corruption, I said, voice steady but fierce. This land belongs to my family, and the developers are breaking the law. Whispers spread. Some glared, others looked relieved to hear someone speak out. One man stood up. I've been fined unfairly for years. Maybe this is our chance. A ripple of agreement grew, and suddenly, I wasn't alone. We organized petitions, gathering signatures like armor against injustice. Flyers went up. Social media buzzed with our story. The local newspaper called, eager to expose the fight. I remember the first rally, faces lined the street, hopeful and angry. I felt a surge of pride, knowing we were more than neighbors, we were a force. But with every step forward, the pressure from the other side intensified. Threatening calls came again. Lawyers sent letters warning us to back down. The developers tried to paint me as a troublemaker. One evening, Jenny grabbed my arm, whispering, "They're watching us, Tom. Stay careful." I nodded, heart pounding. We can't stop now. That night, I looked out over the neighborhood, lights flickering like stars, and felt something I hadn't in weeks, hope. We're stronger together, I whispered. And we're not giving up. I never thought a single piece of paper could carry so much weight, until I held the original deed, signed by my grandfather himself, in my trembling hands. It was hidden deep inside an old, forgotten safe deposit box Henry helped me locate. This is it, I whispered. The proof they can't deny. Henry nodded solemnly. This could turn everything around. But with hope came fear. Almost immediately, strange things started happening. My mailbox was emptied before I could check it. Files on my computer mysteriously vanished. One night, I found my car's tires slashed. Someone wanted this gone, and fast. I confided in Sarah, my lawyer. What if they steal it? Or make it disappear? Sarah's jaw tightened. We'll protect the evidence, but you need to be ready for anything. This fight just got personal. The weight of responsibility pressed down on me. If I lose this, I lose everything, my family's legacy, the truth, our home. What if I'm not strong enough? Jenny squeezed my hand. You are. And you're not alone. After days of sleepless nights, I made the hardest decision, I would go public. The local news wanted the story, and I couldn't hide anymore. Standing in front of cameras, I held the deed high. This land belongs to my family. The developers have built on fraud and corruption. It's time the truth came out. The story exploded. Headlines blasted the corruption. Neighbors felt empowered. The pressure on the HOA and developers mounted. Calls to city officials flooded their offices. One morning, I received a call from the mayor's office. "We're investigating. The tide is turning." But I knew this was just the beginning. The enemies I faced were desperate. Yet, holding that deed close, I felt a flicker of hope, a chance to finally win. Walking into that courtroom, my heart was pounding like a drum. The judge's gaze was sharp, the room packed with faces, some familiar, some hostile. My hands trembled, but I forced myself to breathe. Sarah leaned over and whispered, "Stay calm. We've got this." I nodded, gripping the armrests of my chair. The developer's lawyer started, spinning lies like a web. Mr. Jensen's claims are baseless. The documents he presents are outdated and irrelevant. The permits were legally obtained. His voice was smooth, practiced. I felt my anger rise but held it back. Sarah stood and tore into their defense. "Your Honor, we have irrefutable proof, original deeds, forged signatures, and testimonies. This land was stolen under the cover of falsehood." Neighbors took the stand one by one. Mrs. Lopez told the court about unfair fines and intimidation. Henry, the historian, explained the land's true lineage. Each word chipped away at the developer's carefully built facade. Then came a moment of despair. A surprise witness for the defense claimed the deeds were valid. My heart sank, doubt flooding in. Was this the end? Sarah responded swiftly, presenting a hidden affidavit from a whistleblower who confirmed the fraud. The courtroom fell silent. I caught Jenny's eye. She gave a small, encouraging nod. Hope flickered. The developer's mask cracked as their greed was exposed under relentless questioning. I saw the cold smile fade. Hours felt like days until finally, the jury filed back in. My palms sweated, breath caught in my throat. "Have you reached a verdict?" the judge asked. The foreman stood, voice steady, "We find in favor of the plaintiff." Relief and joy crashed over me like a wave. I whispered, "We did it." The moment the judge began to read the verdict, my entire body went still. Every eye in the courtroom locked on me. I held my breath as the words fell heavy in the quiet room. "We find in favor of the plaintiff," the judge declared. "The fraudulent claims on the property are invalidated. All illegal construction is to cease immediately." Tears welled up before I could stop them. Relief washed over me like a tidal wave. Years of fear, sleepless nights, and endless fighting boiled down to this one moment. I could hardly speak. Sarah reached over, squeezing my hand gently. "You did it, Tom." The judge continued, "Further investigations into the developers and involved officials will be conducted to address corruption uncovered during this trial." The room erupted quietly, not in cheers, but in whispered gasps and nods of approval. Neighbors who had seemed distant before now looked at me with gratitude and respect. Jenny was there, wiping tears from her eyes. Later, outside the courthouse, a small crowd gathered. "You stood up for all of us," Mrs. Lopez said, her voice thick with emotion. "You saved our neighborhood." I smiled through the tears. This land isn't just mine. It belongs to all of us. To my family, and to everyone who calls this place home. Driving back to the property, I felt a sense of peace I hadn't known in months. The field stretched wide beneath the sky, untouched once more, waiting to be healed. "This is more than a victory," I whispered to myself. "It's a promise. To my grandfather, to my family, and to the future." I stood at the edge of the land once more, the earth beneath my boots soft and quiet. The bulldozers were gone, the scars beginning to fade. I imagined flowers blooming here, children laughing, future generations playing where my grandfather had once dreamed. This place will heal, I whispered. Just like we have. I never wanted this fight. I was just the reluctant heir, caught in a storm I didn't ask for. But now, I'm something else, a protector, a fighter. This battle changed me. You've grown stronger, Jenny said the other day, watching me as we cleared debris. You're not just holding on to land. You're holding on to justice. And it's true. I learned the power of persistence, that no matter how dark the road, standing firm can light a path. I saw how a community united could shake the foundations of corruption. Sarah smiled when I thanked her. You inspired us all. Your fight is our fight. Family gathered too, closer than ever. My daughter, my wife, they saw the toll but never let me quit. We're proud of you, my daughter said softly. You saved our home. That meant everything. I looked around, feeling gratitude for neighbors who stood by me, for friends who never faltered. We weren't just neighbors anymore, we were a family forged in struggle. This land isn't just soil and trees, I said aloud. It's hope. In the end, I believe one person can make a difference. One voice, one act of courage can ripple out and change the course of many lives. If I can do this, I thought, then anyone can. And that's the legacy I want to leave behind. If there's one thing I want you to take away from my story, it's this: never give up on what's rightfully yours. Whether it's land, legacy, or simply standing up for your family, the fight is worth every moment. I was just one person against powerful forces, developers, corrupt officials, and a system designed to protect them. But I refused to be silenced. That made all the difference. Justice isn't some far-off dream, it's possible when people stand together and persist, no matter the odds. I saw neighbors join me, voices grow louder, and hope rise from fear and doubt. It's easy to feel small, but when we unite, our strength becomes unstoppable. So if you're facing your own battle, whether it's against injustice, greed, or something that feels too big to conquer, remember this: your voice matters. Your courage matters. You can change the course of your story. I fought not just for land, but for the future of my family and community. And I promise you, if I can do it, so can you. Keep fighting, stay strong, and believe in the power of hope.